वित्त मंत्री निर्मला सीतारमण राज्यसभा में बोल रही हैं, सीधे चलते हैं राज्यसभा।
With quite a few guardrails, in that the defaulting promoter doesn't come back through the back door. It was ensured that the resolution would be towards keeping the company going and not liquidating. There are eventually some companies where no resolution is possible in spite of repeated trying, so they go for liquidation. But the intent of the law is not to liquidate them, but to give a resolution which will keep them going. So in this current set of amendments, we want to bring in expeditious admission of insolvency applications. So even for admission, if there is time lost, the value of the company is getting lost. Equally, the feeling is IBC is not delivering quickly. So by limiting adjudication to the existence of default and greater reliance on information utilities, we are trying to expedite the admission itself of the application. Second, statutory timelines for adjudicatory authorities to reduce delays is being made possible now. Strengthening of the liquidation process through enhanced creditor oversight, ensuring independence of the liquidator, and also making sure the removal of procedural overlaps. These are the large three pillars through which amendments are coming in here this time for the House to consider. One feature of the IBC, sir, was the fast-track process, which was brought in through an amendment. But it had remained underutilized, really not the extent to which we thought it will be picked up by stakeholders. So since it was underutilized, we have now come to replace that fast-track process through a creditor-initiated insolvency framework, and that will feature a few things which are very important. One, out-of-court settlements or out-of-court initiations, a debtor in possession model, wherein the creditor will have oversight. So it's not as if this or that, both of them will play a role in getting a resolution possible and within defined timelines. So these are the features where, while replacing the fast-track mechanism, the process that we had brought in through an amendment, with the creditor-initiated insolvency framework, we are bringing these features so that the best of both worlds can prevail there. So it's also during this set of amendments that we further introduce an enabling framework for group insolvency and cross-border insolvency. And this is aimed at improving investor confidence and aligning domestic processes with the international best practices that we know of. So as you know, the bill was introduced in the Lok Sabha on 12th August 2025. Immediately it was referred to a select committee of the Lok Sabha under the chairmanship of Sri Vijayant Panda. The select committee then presented its report on the 17th of December 2025, and it made 11 recommendations. We went through the recommendation. In fact, even as the select committee was going through the process, consulting with all the stakeholders, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs was actively engaged with the select committee, sitting along with them on some of the processes, and there and then understood where some of the recommendations were already featured in some way or the other, or it is possible to do it through rules. So there was an active engagement of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs with the select committee, and finally when they gave the recommendations, there were 11 of them. We added one more recommendation from ministry's side, so altogether about 12 of them have come here. 11, which is all that the select committee gave us recommendations, have all been accepted. So the select committee had submitted its report on 25th March 2026. And after detailed deliberation, 30th March, the Lok Sabha passed it. So now I come to specific suggestions and comments made by honorable members. There was a lot of concern expressed, and rightly so, on the huge haircuts low recovery rates. So I want to first of all reiterate the point that I made a minute before. IBC framework is a framework for rescuing viable businesses and resolving financial stress while preserving enterprise value. It was never intended to be a debt recovery tool. Recovery values are incidentally a byproduct. But therefore, we need to understand the IBC process is largely market-driven, in fact only market-driven. So the recoveries are reflective of underlying asset quality and commercial viability, and of the distressed enterprises, various different parameters are looked into, and the market determines what can be the asset quality's valuation. It also depends on firm-specific